So we have a real voice right now, which means we have the opportunity, and I believe the responsibility, to use this momentum to drive a continuing public discourse around the need to emphasize our shared values in order to do shared service across religious and ideological lines. I hope with all this attention and all this gathering force that we have, I hope we continue to create a space in which we can all speak openly and authentically about our values in a way that is engaging and inspiring. In this space, I think we'll finally be heard in ways we could never imagine for our secular community. Too many people feel disenfranchised from civic engagement and social justice work because they don't see their values articulated by their government representatives, their community leaders, their neighbors, and their friends. And so now with this spotlight on us, now is the time to boldly advance the message that our values are relevant and that our values resonate with everybody, regardless of religious belief or non-belief. Now with the light in the media on us, and with the groundswell of support for and interest in a secular lifestyle, now is the time for us to mobilize our communities for political advocacy. Now is the time to respond to our country's antagonizing political culture and regressive policies, to respond with humanizing, connecting language and progressive policies that create opportunity for everybody to thrive, to provide for their families, and to live joyful, free, and actualized lives. Now is the time for us to reject the complacency, because our values affirm people as infinitely precious, right? And we cannot affirm the preciousness of human life when we choose not to respond. When our government is stripping away the human rights of the most vulnerable among us, when people are imprisoned in a cycle of poverty that crushes the human spirit, when people are alone and disconnected from one another because they haven't heard about our communities and how they can, and the transformative power of becoming involved, when people are treated like things because they're born on the wrong side of an arbitrary geographical line, we must respond. So I'm so grateful for the work that people out here have done today to advance our message, to build communities, to create a culture that made it possible for me as a state legislator to talk honestly about what I believe in. And now together we can go further than even I imagined. We are standing at a moment in time when we truly can dramatically shift our culture toward feminism, environmentalism, human dignity, and real liberty and justice for all. Our community is gathering positive press for standing against religionists in government, while at the same time standing alongside politically vulnerable groups of people who are being marginalized by powerful religious interests. With your work, we have email campaigns that are flooding my colleagues' inboxes and tying up their phone lines every time secular government is in jeopardy. So we're standing in line with more people, and we're growing in numbers every year. Atheist activists are now being invited to speak all across the state, not just to debate creationists at religious colleges or at colleges, and not just to talk to other atheists, but to address all kinds of groups. Right? We're now being invited to speak to political caucuses, women's groups, interfaith communities, military veterans. The non-theist community is visible and valued in Arizona, and the national climate is perfect for people to receive what we have to say about our non-belief and how that we can still be good without a God. This climate exists because of the hard work and the resources people in our movement invested in our state, and because of the personal and political risks taken by the brave women and men who advocated for inclusion before me. So look, I took a chance, maybe I took a chance coming out as an atheist and sharing that secular invocation, but we didn't really know what the response would look like. My colleagues warned me about the potential devastating political fallout. I was told there was polls that, show that atheists are, the least trusted community out there. I've heard stories about courageous people coming up before and, it's resulting in horrible prejudice and threats. But what happened with me, with the exception of one colleague who took a point of personal privilege to lead the House in an extra do-over prayer in repentance for my non-prayer, besides that one guy, I've had 100% positive response to me being in public office. And then I quickly learned how many people across the country have been feeling disenfranchised from civic engagement and social justice work because they didn't see their values in government. They didn't see anybody speaking out. And so, with all the attention that we got because of that prayer, we were able to offer a kind of representation that our secular community has been hungry for. And so so do you when you show up to this kind of lobby day, and when you make your calls and send out your emails. And so I know I will never stop fighting for our values, and today, the turnout today shows me that you won't stop fighting and that I'm not fighting alone. So together, if we choose to be boldly and speak the truth, if we choose to be champions of progressive values, then we'll be able to seize the dignity that we all deserve for all Arizonans. So thank you.